How coaching justifies harm and calls it growth. She didn't just leave a marriage. She reframed it. This is how coaching justifies harm. What began as self-development spiraled into a wholesale rewriting of history, morality, and meaning, all in the name of growth. Armed with coaching frameworks, spiritual jargon, and NLP reframing tools, she was able to walk away from a 25-year relationship, hurt those who loved her most, and still call it alignment. This article examines her transformation through 3 distinct psychological lenses: the one she adopted, NLP coaching; the one that emboldened her, spiritual bypassing; and the one that tells the harder truth, trauma-informed psychology. 1. The coaching or NLP lens, a transformation story. From the perspective of an NLP practitioner or human behavior specialist, her change is framed not as betrayal, but as breakthrough. She had, they would say, become trapped in a limiting identity structure: the dutiful wife, the breadwinner, the people-pleaser. This was her outdated map of the world. Coaching helped her break that pattern, shed that identity, and install a new, more empowered version of herself. In this story, her family became an emotional comfort zone. Her husband, a reflection of her past self, a stay-at-home dad who was a financial drain. Leaving wasn't about escape, it was about evolution. She didn't destroy anything. She transcended an outdated structure. Key tools and reframes. Meta-program analysis. She shifted from an externally referenced, away from motivated identity to a self-referenced, towards driven visionary. Reframing. Guilt became misalignment. Loyalty became stagnation. Love became attachment. Language as transformation. Words like truth, growth, alignment, and choice became the justification toolkit. Identity level change. NLP doesn't just change behavior, it reprograms identity. She wasn't leaving a family. She was becoming someone new. There is no room for regret here, only recoding. 2. The spiritual bypass lens. The universe said yes. Overlay the NLP framing with the gloss of New Age spirituality, and the transformation story becomes metaphysical. She wasn't just evolving, she was manifesting her destiny. Guilt and conflict were no longer emotional signals. They were signs of energetic resistance. Her pain became proof she was growing. Her intuition was always right, even when it hurt people. She didn't apologize. She held space. Beliefs that enabled harm. Manifestation theology. If she visualized wealth, purpose, and love, anything that didn't align had to go, even a 25-year marriage. Vibrational rationalization. Her partner was on a different frequency. He wasn't evolving fast enough. Spiritual hierarchy. She was doing the work, and that made her more conscious, more awakened, more entitled to rewrite her reality. Emotions as ego. Guilt and empathy were interpreted as blocks to transcend. In this frame, abandoning her family wasn't wrong, it was sacred. Pain wasn't caused, it was triggered for others to grow. The universe was always saying yes. 3. The trauma-informed psychological lens, the unspoken wounds. But from the perspective of a trauma-informed psychologist, what happened was not transcendence, it was an escape. Not transformation, but fragmentation dressed up as empowerment. Her history suggests patterns of high achievement, people-pleasing, and perfectionism, all markers of a fragile identity structured around external validation. When those strategies stopped working, the coaching and spiritual echo chambers offered a way out. But rather than resolve trauma, she bypassed it. She bypassed guilt, reframed harm, and called it growth. That's not evolution. It's avoidance. Clinical realities. Defensive splitting. She cast her past life as toxic and her new self as true, avoiding the complexity of grief, loyalty, and growth within relationship. Moral disengagement. She reframed the harm she caused as empowerment. Attachment rupture. Leaving her family wasn't a move towards self, it was a rupture that allowed her to finally stop caring. But that came at a psychological cost. Identity foreclosure. She didn't discover a new self. She adopted a pre-packaged ideological identity sold by coaching culture. The psychologist sees a woman who is exhausted, disconnected, and vulnerable to ideology, not a liberated being. And they see a man left behind, not because he lacked growth, but because he represented the version of her that needed to be erased. Interlude: the day she said sorry. It was a February afternoon. I had driven to my son's cricket game but never left the car. The idea of pretending to be okay, smiling, small talk, standing beside people who didn't know what had broken inside me, was unbearable. I left, went home, locked the door, and stayed in my room. This was the onset of my agoraphobia, a body-level response to betrayal, abandonment, and emotional confusion. And then she came in. She sat on the bed, looked at me. "I'm so sorry I've done this to you." It was the first time she ever said it. And the last. She didn't stay. She didn't explain. She didn't come back. There was no effort to rebuild. Just a sentence, a release valve, and then more mixed messages, more absence, more time with her new best friend, more time in a life that didn't include me. She didn't apologize to make amends. She apologized to manage her own guilt. Reframe. One story, 3 lenses. Coaching and spiritual frameworks don't just give people tools, they give them permission. Permission to rewrite the past. Permission to hurt others and call it purpose. Permission to abandon, reframe, and transcend without ever turning back. This is not accountability. This is escapism with a certificate. We are told that every story has 3 sides. This one has 3 lenses. Only one of them sees clearly.